Hey YouTube family, what's going on? This is Jerome and I'm here with another video just in time for the end of the year, and this is going to be entitled I've Seen Him Do It. Before we start, I know I've done this before in another video, but I want to thank every person who has given me feedback and tell me how much they've helped them with one of my videos. I mean, that's what I want to do. I want to help those who want to come out of sexual sin, of course, especially homosexuality, because that's something that I struggled with for half of my life. So, you know, to show people the way that I got out of it and to let them know that there's a way out, I mean, that's what my mission in life is, well, at least one of my missions. So thanks for all you. And I also want to thank all those who've given me negative feedback for my videos. For every 5 good comments I get on a video, I might get 1 or 2 bad ones. And that's kind of what I want to talk about in this video. Well, partly what I want to talk about in this video. Sometimes I'll get a person who will respond to me saying, well, you know, people are born gay, so you're setting yourself up for a fall. You're going to fall. And when you fall, then you're going to be embarrassed. You're going to embarrass your family. You're going to embarrass your friends. Just be yourself. You're denying who you are. You still sound gay. You still look gay. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, okay. Yeah, you say all this, and you know what it's doing is going in one ear and out the other, because I've gotten to a point I just don't listen to foolishness. And in case you're wondering, if you're one of those people who posted that one of those comments, if you're wondering why you don't see your comment on my videos, that's because I choose not to have that on the videos, because I don't want to discourage anyone who actually wants to come out of that lifestyle. I don't want to discourage them by allowing them to see those negative comments, thinking that it's not possible for a person to come out of that lifestyle, because it's possible. I've seen him do it, and it's not just with me that I've seen him do it with. I've seen him do it with friends and family. Every November for the last 4 years, I've gone on a retreat in Georgia, in the mountains in Georgia, and I met with 20 to 30 different men, and we all have one thing in common. We've all, in some way, shape, or form, struggled with homosexuality. And some are babies, you know, they may have only been out of lifestyle a year, 6 months, a year or two. There's some who may have been out like me. I've been out 6 years, you know, and, you know, 6, 7, 10 years. And there are some people who've been out of that lifestyle for 15, 20, 25 years. And not only are they out of the lifestyle, they're happily married. Not just married because, oh, if I get married, that'll prove that I'm straight. No, because there's a lot of down low brothers who are seemingly happily married, but still getting some on the side from another man, or vice versa. Women who are married and, you know, have a woman on the side. So they're not only married, they're married and faithful to their wives and loving their wives, have no desire to go back into their lifestyle. So these brothers are prime example of the people who've come out of their lifestyle. So whenever I have doubt that I will be out, you know, in the past I have had doubts that maybe I should. I mean, and you know, hearing things like that from people like that discouraged me at one point. But when I see examples of people who have come out of the lifestyle, that's just that people witnessing to me and seeing that firsthand, witnessing change and transformation, that shows me that change is possible. So I'm here to tell you that change is possible. I've seen him do it. And it's not just homosexuality. I know a brother who went to church with me, who used to go to church with me. He used to be gang banging, doing everything in his hometown. And he was just crazy. And you know what? I would never know unless he told me, which he told me. And he told me he was in jail and all this stuff. I'm like, really? You? Mr. Squeaky Clean? You had guns and blazing and all this stuff. You were hoeing around your city and all that. But look at you now. You're a minister. You're a true example of a man of God. I mean, you're a whole nother person than what you said you were. I've seen him do it. There's another man in my church. He's good 63, 64 years old. For years, he was a pimp. P-I-M-P. Yeah, a pimp. A true pimp. One of those guys who, get the hookers and everything, get the prostitutes and, have them go out and work for him and give him money and all this stuff. He's not pimping anymore. He's saying, thank you, Jesus, every Sunday at church. Every Sunday. It's all, you know when you hear him say those famous words, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. He in the middle of a conversation, thank you, Jesus. He thanks him every day because God changed him. He had to go to jail, and he had an epiphany that he needed to get himself out of that lifestyle that he was in. He couldn't be a pimp anymore. He had to surrender his life to God. And ever since I've known him, that man has been on pure fire for God. I know another brother. He was so hooked on drugs and alcohol for years. I wouldn't have known it because I didn't know him back then. But he has a sister who told me so many stories about what he used to be. But if you look at him now, he was not the same person. And I've seen people firsthand who were womanizers, who were, bad people at one point. They, you couldn't tell them anything. But once God came into their lives and changed them, they're a whole new person. And I got one more example, and you're probably going to flood my inbox in comments on this one, but I'm going to say it. Chris Brown. Yes, Chris Brown. In 2009, I think it was about February 2009, he was accused, well, not accused, he was convicted of abusing his then girlfriend, Rihanna. Everybody saw the photos. He pretty much beat her to a pulp in his limousine. And of course, there was a big restraining order that she put on him. She was afraid of him. So, it was a tragic situation. He got a lot of flack for that, which for good reason, because you shouldn't hit a woman, period, for any reason. But fast forward 4 years, almost. I mean, it's been almost 4 years since this has happened. I happened to be watching the Lakers Knicks game on Christmas in LA, and lo and behold, who do I see on the front row together, just all booed up, hugging and laughing together? Chris Brown and Rihanna. Now, a lot of people are saying, of course, this isn't their first outing together. I mean, they recorded songs together since this has happened. The restraining order has been lifted. She requested it to be lifted. They've, recorded together. They've been spotting different areas together. So it's rumored that they're back together, strong, and all this. So they're chastising Rihanna because she's, they expect her to be, I guess you can say, a poster child for abused women, and that, how can you go back to them and then you're going to make other women think that it's okay to go back to an abusive man. Now hear me out. I don't know about Chris Brown outside of music. So I don't know what he does when he's not on stage, when he's not performing, when he's not interviewing. I don't know what type of relationship he has with God. What I do know is that once this whole thing happened 3.5 years ago, he sought treatment. He got help. Now, whether that was spiritual help or just, just a regular psychiatrist, I don't know. But I do know that he got help. He showed remorse. He said that he would never do it again. You can call it publicity, or, he was just saying that out of, habit or whatever. And maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. I don't know if he's changed. I pray that he has, for Rihanna's sake and for his own sake. But I don't know. But I will say this. Change is possible. So I'm not going to just badmouth Chris Brown or Rihanna and say, you all shouldn't get back together. He's going to hit you again, and it's going to be worse. I don't know. I don't know. If that man has truly changed, and God has changed him so that he would never hit a woman again, then more power to them. It's important to forgive someone. Now I'm not telling for every abuser, every person who's been abused, that you should go back to your husband or wife or whatever, because that's not always the case. I mean, unfortunately, more oftentimes than not, unless they actually get true deliverance and treatment, they're prone to do it again. But if they allow themselves to be changed, then it's a possibility you can take that person back. So, I mean, don't just take someone back just because they say I'm sorry. I mean, they need to be not only remorseful, but they also need to make an effort to change. I mean, Rihanna didn't just immediately hop back into Chris Brown's life. It took a while. It took a couple of years for them to work this out. So, I mean, I wish the best for them, but I say all that to say that change is possible. So Chris Brown may very well have changed, so he will not hit another woman ever again, including Rihanna, no matter how upset that she makes him. So don't ever doubt that God can change. If you are struggling with something, if you're struggling with your sexuality, thinking that God can't change you, if you're struggling with drug addiction, thinking God can't change you, if you're struggling with alcohol, thinking God can't change you, if you are someone who just sleeps with, if you're a man who sleeps with woman after woman, thinking that, my flesh is weak and God can't change me, or if you're a woman who keeps on getting into bed with different men, or if you're a prostitute, a stripper, whatever, a porn star, whatever. I've seen him change porn stars. Are you listening to me? People used to be in porn. He got them out. He got them out. Once they surrendered their lives to him, they got out. God can change anyone. He can change a hoe into a housewife. He can change a homosexual into a holy brother. He did it for me. I've seen him do it. I've seen him do it in me. I've seen him do it in many, many, many other people. So if you ever have doubt, just look at this video and remind yourself that God can change. It's been over 6 years. I don't want to go back. I refuse to go back. As much as I may have gotten pleasure at it at some point, I'm tired of disappointing God. And you may say that, why are you living life for Christ? That's what I was brought here to do. When you get to the point in which doing for Christ makes you happy, you're in a good place. So you shouldn't be living to make yourself happy. You should be making yourself available to God so He can be happy. Then once you have become one with God, what you do for God makes you happy. You've got to get to that point. Until you get to that point, yeah, you're going to be miserable. But you got to get to that point. God can change you. You just got to be bold enough to let Him do it. Let go and let God. Well, that's all I have for this evening. I want everybody to have a happy New Year tomorrow. Well, New Year's Eve tomorrow. And don't bring the same old dirt from 2012 to 2013, this is the perfect opportunity for you to make a lifestyle change. And don't wait until New Year's Eve service. Do it now. Do it right now. Because tomorrow's not promised. I mean, there are a lot of people who were scared that, December 21st was going to be the last day of mankind. What if that was the case? I mean, who would have been ready? We don't know the day or the hour. Tomorrow's not promised. Happy New Year. God bless.